Travis Wayne Goodsell. An update for those of you who have been following my death threat. Investigations take way too long. And never has any government official or agency ever come to me to follow up. Never. And sure enough, in the news today, the Department of Homeland Security has been found having purposely neglected people's tips, especially about January 6th is what the news was talking about. But yeah, it seems to be a common theme that when people give tips about national security threats, government drops the ball, almost as if they have sleeper cells within our government. You know, the deep state. But they're not Democrats. So that which a certain political group accused is actually them themselves who are guilty, huh? That sounds like beam and moat philosophy. But nonetheless, such is the case. In high school, and it was probably my senior year, I decided to take physics as an elective. And Mason Wooldridge, who was often in my classes, and thus we hung out at lunch, and he had me skip a basketball practice to go get my my security guard license, for which I was hired to do work for that after getting my license. But nonetheless, the basketball coach benched me so that I didn't start. That was my punishment. I was benched to be a starter. Came in, it took about 2 minutes until I was then called in. Nonetheless, notwithstanding the glory days, and I don't have my son in basketball to relive my glory days through him, which I don't think he's even close to being as tall as I am. But I don't know, I haven't seen them forever. Nonetheless, there was an assignment that we had to do a presentation to an elementary school class. We were paired up in twos, and we all went to the elementary school, and we each were assigned a separate classroom. And instead of teaching the little grade school kids quantum physics, Mason chose for us to do glycerin bubbles. And he had notified the teacher and had bought candy and put them in bags for each of the kids. And when we got to the class, the teacher handed out the candy. We were one short. I didn't buy the candy. I didn't even know he was doing it. It was his own inspiration. But he was one short. And the teacher was furious with us. So I got to get to be blamed for it, but it was his idea and his action. And so what the teacher had to then do was take candy from other kids to combine into the extra bag for the student. Now, as a kid, it's kind of disheartening to receive candy and then have it taken away, or to be the one student who doesn't get candy. Kind of disturbing. So, as we look to what's going on in World War III, Armageddon, Battle of Magog, whatever you understand it, hopefully you do not understand it by now that it's not just a conflict. That this is serious. This is biblical prophecy. And I've been telling you, they purposely are doing it to fulfill biblical prophecy. Because they're going to prove to the world that Jesus does not exist. That he was just created by Constantine at the Nicene Council in 325 CE. And so the question is, where is Jesus for the Ukrainians? Where's their bag of candy Jesus to save them? Didn't show up, did he? And you may think, well, they're just wicked people. They deserve what they get. Go to hell. If you had taken a close look, you have to zoom in on the map on the pictures that I had provided previously that had been breakout videos for me. Thanks to the news. When the church is involved with the news, I get more views. There's a lot of churches. Even a Jewish church, a synagogue. And so I'm kind of concerned about it. I did see news reports of Ukrainian Jews as they're fleeing. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of Christian churches, especially the Eastern Orthodox that has their church as well. And so they don't lack for believing in Jesus. They apparently are very faithful. There are Mormons, 11,000 Mormons in Ukraine with the Kiev Temple. They're gone now. They've lost their homes. Mormons have been forced out of their home, of their land. They have nothing but their clothes. There are likely Mormons who have died. Were they not faithful? Because they're not from Utah. Go to hell. Where is Jesus for them? Mormons believe they're Christian. Mormons believe Jesus is their Christ. Screw Joseph Smith and what he was telling us. We follow the living prophet, not the dead ones. Where was Jesus for the Ukrainian Mormons? Where was their bag of candy? Where was the church? In the church news today, I keep telling you, the church does not care about people. They're doing a big top bar thing on the news, on the website, and apparently has a video, and it says that they are donating to the New York City Food Bank. Well, that's good. That's charity. 1 truckload. Now, granted, the truckload is an 18-wheeler, so it's a big truckload. but it's just one truckload for New York City Food Bank. How many how many New Yorkers are there? Let's find out. $8.419 million. Yeah. Yeah, I also saw that the church in one stake somewhere in the world, I can't remember where, gave 1,000 meals to kids. That's one meal per kid. One meal. But here they are advertising, hey, we gave one meal to kids. We gave one truckload to 8.419 million. See, when I see semi-trucks pull into my grocery store, or even there's one that delivers to my local Family Dollar store. Can't remember if that's the name of it. There used to be another one down past Bangor, but that's been converted into a General Dollar, and that's where I was this morning. Was over by that area. But that's a supply for a whole week at the store that people have to pay at the store. And so they get pretty good business. But one truckload for 8.419 million. Yeah, that ain't gonna cover everybody. Let's find out how many Mormons. $83,293 members in 140 congregations in New York, New York. And there were, when I went in 1989 to 1991, there were only 200 of us missionaries for 83,293. And is that New York, New York? Or Manhattan? Or is it New York? Yeah, that's the whole state of New York. So what they gave isn't even near enough to handle the Mormon membership, let alone the needs of the food bank. In case you didn't realize, you're having to pay more for gas. Good for Biden for finally doing what needed to be done. Each and every single nation and company and church needs to take the candy away from Russia. McDonald's did today. 850 stores. What about you, John Marriott? Mormon? Your Marriott hotels? He's got several of them right there in Moscow. Why aren't you closing down your hotels? What's up with that? The church invests in your international ones, at least through the tithing one. They probably invest in your others through the other ones that we have yet to know about. Why is the church not taking away their candy from Russia? Why is the church not pulling out the Mormons from Russia? The church did not pull out Ukrainians from Ukraine like they did the missionaries and close the temple. Were the Mormons just supposed to get a clue? Were they even notified by the church that the missionaries were being pulled and the temple was closed? Or did they just all of a sudden try to go to the temple one day and saw that it was closed? And so they were wondering what's going on. Because Nelson did it early. There are more than 2 million refugees now who've all had their bag of candy taken from them. All they have are their clothes on their back. There is a humanitarian crisis. People need more than just a single truckload that the church said they also sent to the front lines. What's it going to take for Mormons to do the right thing and shun evil, which is right there in their backyard? Downtown Temple Square. So we know what the scriptures say about helping the poor and the needy, the sick and the afflicted, those who are refugees, those who have no clothing, who have no food and no shelter, if you remember that part. When saw we thee naked and gave thee clothes? When saw we thee without shelter and took thee in? That passage. The missionaries need to come home. The church needs to be shut down. They have no interest in protecting Mormons. It's all just a fraud. Galen Rust is in the news today. I was taken with my brother-in-law, Travis Huff, who was a former spouse, well, he was the spouse at the time, of Tiffany, both of whom were con artists. My sister is a well-established con artist in the family. As me being the firstborn, the oldest, when I would get something for school, she then demanded that she get something as equal value. When she went and bought a dress for a school dance, my mom thought it was too sexualizing. And my sister was there waiting when Dad came home at the bottom of the stairs, at the door there. Dad comes through the door. Mom comes from the kitchen to meet him as well, but Tiffany's already there with the dress, showing him the dress, and Dad, without consulting Mom first, says, "Oh, that's a pretty dress." Mom was so pissed because I was sitting in the living room couch, so I got to see the whole thing. So what Galen Russ did was scam Mormons. He's a Mormon. I've been into his office. Travis took me there. He just wanted to see. I was more concerned about him pickpocketing some of the coins, as he had Galen go get the good stuff. And I'm going, oh God, please don't take anything while we're here. But yeah, he was wanting to look and see how far I would go. Travis even, and yeah, Travis, Tiffany married a Travis. Yeah, very blatantly obvious. But he, after I had moved to Utah, and he and Tiffany came over to try to get us into a pyramid scheme. And I didn't really know what a pyramid scheme was at the time, but he was talking about it, and I was not comfortable. Something wasn't sounding right. Because why should I pay for a kit that he gets a portion of for recruiting me, and then I then am required to go and recruit others? Of course, my wife at the time was angry that I didn't approve it and go along with it to make her more money. It's a criminal operation. And so Galen, doing a similar thing, it's called a Ponzi scheme in this case. This is a different from a pyramid scheme in that you get people to invest in something and they get nothing back. He just took the money and ran. And I apparently did do some investing, but it was for him and his mistresses, I understand. He had mistresses. Wonder where he got that idea from as a Mormon. See, mistresses aren't illegal, but married women are illegal. Was he trying to cheat the system? But nonetheless, that's what he did. And the sad part is that the Mormons realize they ain't going to get their money back, even though he's going to do time. He'll probably get out early for good behavior, first offense and all. And so even though it's 19 years, as long as he's a good boy, he'll have parole hearings and possibly get out sooner. As people will then be going, what? Why is he out so soon? I thought it was 19 years. It's because you don't understand the corruption of the system. But yeah, civil cases are now designed for people to get their money back. And it was a criminal trial. So there is no money damages awarded to the prosecution victims. The law says that fines should be imposed, but the judge did not do any such thing, just prison time. So, yeah, they're screwed. Justice is not served. They did not get a bag of candy. And so the church isn't giving you a bag of candy. They took your money and ran with it. They're hoarding it. They're hoarding it for now. They paid with your tithing for this war. And a major city yet to be determined in Russia. I have to keep reminding you because I keep getting new audience members. So, understand that what the church does is, in perspective, give one person one little piece of candy and the rest are screwed, percentage-wise. They don't care about us. They claim scriptures, they claim to have the mantle, but by their fruits we know them. And as Mormons, you know them. You can't defend them. It doesn't work. We don't believe you. You have to leave the church. Church isn't true. Now, that doesn't mean Joseph Smith was false. Joseph Smith was murdered, remember? Ever wonder what happened? I've got the videos about it, if you even bother to look. There is a search engine. You can probably find it by typing in Carthage. Just saying. Are you interested in knowing the truth? Or are you just going to continue to believe the lie and not get your bag of candy?